Patrick Parsons, Executive Vice President of the American Firearms Association, alongside my colleague, our President, Chris Dorr, coming to you live from Washington, D.C., outside the Capitol, guys. Last week, we all saw it, okay? The Biden administration, they're thwarted. Their gun control agenda has been thwarted for the most part here in Congress, guys, but they started a new bureaucratic offensive attack on our Second Amendment rights, Chris. And we're talking about ATF. We're talking about all down the line. Let's go through this step by step, guys, so we know exactly what's going on and the type of action that we want you guys to be taking here in the coming week. So, Chris, we saw it, I think it was last Monday, the ATF published their registry, new federal registry on pistol braces, 80% lowers. You know, we've been hearing from people about this all week.
Yeah.
You know,
well, it's dominating the gun politics arena right now. Let's not forget why the Biden administration has been forced to choose this route. It's because gun owners, the moment that schmuck got into office, gun owners got up and started railing back against H.R. 8, against not Merrick Garland, well, we fought that one too, but against David Chipman. And totally blocked the entire gun control agenda, especially over there on the Senate side. And so because of that, he's forced into this path of trying to go the executive orders route. And yeah, that's what we're seeing now. Executive orders being published on the Federal Register, banning pistol braces. This is something that I own very many of them, and actually every time they talk about banning them more, I go out and buy 5 more. Pistol braces and what was the other one?
Lowers.
80% lowers. A lot of us enjoy that very much, building our own firearms made out of 80% lowers. So this is what they're coming after, and we got to fight back against it.
And in a nutshell, guys, I think those are coming out in June and August. Those final answers from these guys. They're trying to criminalize us in one fell swoop. What they couldn't do through the Congress, they're trying to do through the bureaucracy. It's unacceptable, and you're going to be hearing some more from us on this later in the week, guys. We also found that 920 million ATF gun purchase records are still on the books over there at the ATF. And I mean, we talk about this all the time, right? You go through the scanner at the airport. Do you think they actually delete those records?
No.
No. When you're buying a firearm, of course they're going to be recording that record and keeping it on the books there, guys. And that's why they so much want to do away with private sales, which is a whole other issue. I guess that's H.R. 8.
Yep, and that's why they're constantly expanding the NCIC database, all the data that's flowing from the states into that database. That's why Nancy Pelosi, Dianne Feinstein, all these people are always trying to expand the background check system, because at the end of the day, it is the system that they will use to implement nationwide gun confiscation.
And we're seeing that at the state level, and we have over the years, where the feds offer all this money to the states to send up records to the NICS system. Whenever you hear that stuff, guys, and I think most of y'all, at least our members and supporters, are trained on this. It's like a red flag immediately, literally on those issues, guys, on those issues. So we've got ATF. Then last thing was last Wednesday, Biden goes to New York City. He stands with anti-gun Attorney General Merrick Garland. He stands with the socialist mayor of New York City, Eric Adams, and he's up there promising hundreds of millions or even billions of dollars for gun safety programs and to go after crime and this and that. Of course, we know that the answer to that is not more money for, government thugs, basically, to be knocking on our doors and taking our guns. But it's a sustained offensive against our Second Amendment rights.
They want to use the taxpayer dollar to fund the left, to fund the opposition to our freedoms. And a lot of this money ends up boiling not just down to the local community policing programs and stuff like that, but it boils over into the anti-gun organizations. They line up for grant money that becomes available because of this stuff, and so they literally want to fund the very enemies of the Second Amendment through stuff like this.
Yeah, exactly. And we also saw up in New York City, we see Chuck Schumer senator from New York, calling for doubling of the ATF's budget. They already have, guys, get this, they already have 5,700 employees at the ATF, and that's a small federal bureaucracy.
Yeah, it is.
$1.6 billion is their budget to enforce gun control and try to take away our guns, guys. Schumer wants to double it. So clearly, in a nutshell, last week was an offensive from the Biden administration, the gun control lobby, the radical left. They're on the ropes in 2022. Everything that we're seeing and reading, guys, that November could potentially be just an absolute slaughter. They're trying to get whatever they can get right now.
Absolutely.
And we know that when they take anything of ours away, Chris,
never get it back.
Never getting it back.
Yep.
Just like the bump stocks and everything else, which we were fighting as well.
That's exactly right. So, folks, it's really important. It is really important. I know there's this temptation to think that China Joe Biden has totally lost his mojo, that, you know, we defeated the congressional gun control stuff, and it's definitely not over till it's over.
Right.
But we can't let our guards down now, even if we think there's this red wave coming in the 2022 elections here. We cannot let our guards down. We have to fight back against this stuff.
Yeah, exactly, Chris. And there's a few ways that you guys can do that, guys. I know we've had, over the last week, just a massive week across the country. New members coming on in a big way. Head over to joinafa.org, guys. That's joinafa.org. It's fast, simple, safe, secure. Takes you about 60 seconds. Hop on board, become a member of the American Firearms Association today, guys. Again, and I say it not because they're bad people necessarily, but because we walk the halls of Congress, guys. There's nobody else up here.
No,
there's no other gun rights organizations doing anything. They may tell you that they're doing something. They may be putting out information that they're doing something. But you walk those halls of Congress, guys, meeting with members of Congress, meeting with staff. The American Firearms Association is there for you, fighting for you. And quite frankly, it's just empty hallways, guys. And the excuse that you can't get in is just a total BS excuse.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, yeah.
Where there's a will, there's a way. We're just not going to take no for an answer. It's kind of shocking sometimes. You walk into these offices up here, they're like, who are you with? And you're here on the gun issue? Well, we've never had a lobbyist in here before on the gun rights stuff. And we're like, what?
Right.
But that's really no surprise. I mean, you think about the NRA, half the time they're pushing to expand the NICS system, the NCIC database. We can't let one single piece of ground be ceded to these people anymore. The time for compromise is long over.
Yeah, and I hate to beat this horse to death, guys, but last week I said it on the show. You know, I was a chief of staff here for Congresswoman Green on Capitol Hill. Never one time did we hear from the NRA, and we had the most pro-gun Congresswoman on either side of the Senate or the House here, putting in SEPA legislation and eliminate the ATF and on and on and on. Never heard from the NRA, never saw them. Well, I did see them, but I saw them across the street whining and dining with legislators. Look, guys, we're not going to do that. Sure, will we have a meeting with someone? Absolutely, but this issue is so simple and straightforward that we're meeting with our allies up here, but it is a shame there's not many others up here. So again, guys, head over to joinafa.org, joinafa.org. Get on board today, join up. Anything else, Chris? I mean, we've got big fights constantly coming up. You know how this issue is. Anything can happen at any time. It could be a major national news story, and the radical left, Pelosi and Schumer and Biden, they're going to go for the throat on us every single time.
God forbid there's a school shooting tomorrow, but we cannot let our guards down. Our kids are depending on it. Our grandkids are depending on it, and we cannot take our foot off the gas. So.
Yeah, exactly, guys. We love you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for all your memberships and activism, calls, petitions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Get involved in the fight. AmericanFirearmsAssociation.org, joinafa.org. We will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.